Hey everyone, got another thrift haul video. Gonna share some things I got at some new and old thrift stores, and yeah, just some of this I'll review in more detail later. Some I won't, it depends, but I thought it'd be fun to just go through these quickly. I want to give a shout out to MAMO, Moving About Manipulating Objects. He's been a big supporter of the channel recently, been going through and just commenting on like all my videos and providing a lot of wonderful insight. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. And for those of you who enjoy the things I do, the thrift Bibles, be sure to visit his channel too, because he's doing some of the same things and finding some wonderful items. I'll have a link to his video, or to his channel rather, in the description below. But let's get into it. First stack I got here is from a thrift store out in Amish country that I love and hadn't been to in a couple of years. It's always wonderful when you go to a place you haven't been there in a while and the people remember you. And I just love this particular store. And I got all this plus we got like a salad bowl and some other things for like $5. Just, you can't beat that. Prices are wonderful. First thing here, we got Billy Graham, the Jesus Generation. I got this because it promised that it would offer some provocative analysis of various things from that kind of 60s, 70s kind of Jesus movement. We got the Jesus Revolution, Changing Scene, Identity Crisis, Jesus Christ Superstar, etc. In particular, Jesus Christ Superstar, I enjoy that, as well as Godspell. I like those kinds of musicals. And, they're not Christian works. They're secular works based on, stories from Christianity. Of course, Godspell based on both of them based on the life of Jesus. I was curious what Billy Graham would have to say. Well, he didn't really offer like a provocative analysis. He kind of just more used it as a jumping off point to talk about the things he wanted to. I mean, he said he didn't like it. He found it irreverent. He doesn't like that it doesn't recognize Jesus' resurrection, which 100% I agree. That's an issue both with JC Superstar and Godspell. However, I do think you can enjoy those musicals and get value out of them if you come to them using discernment and understanding that they are not the gospel. You need to read your Bible for that. So anyways, yeah, that was kind of a disappointment. I might look at a couple other topics because I am really curious about that era and how Christianity, that kind of culture of that 60s and 70s, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe some of the other chapters will be better. Got Tramp for the Lord. Well, how can you not grab this off the shelf with a title like that? Corey Ten Boom. I had heard of this, but I hadn't seen it. It offers a little bit of her story right here, but yeah, she kind of traveled around to share the gospel, and during World War II, they were hiding persecuted Jews. Spent a few months in concentration camp as a result, and she had a previous book about that called The Hiding Place. It just sounds like this woman just had a wonderful, just amazing life serving Christ. After facing much, just horrible, horrible atrocities and difficulty. And yeah, I'm looking forward to checking that out and learning more about her. And, gosh, I think I paid like 25 cents for this. Yeah, it was half off. 25 cents. So that's wonderful. Picked up some of these little books, different things they had here. These are, just some little Moody Press kind of little things to give to people, I think, maybe for evangelism, that sort of thing. Or I think these might have been sent, I read, as like to people who were supporting Moody Press. This is a pocket treasury. It just has some different scripture inside. You see there's some different Psalms. I need to change my exposure a little. There we go. So some different Psalms, Proverbs, Isaiah, etc. It's a nice little collection. It's all KJV. My biggest probably complaint is like all the Psalms are kind of very more, what I want to say, very positive, and you don't have like some of the real lament and things like that I, especially in some of the stuff going on in my life recently really turned to, so still a nice little collection. I like that cover. I don't know if you just heard that, but my cat just screamed for some reason, probably because I locked him out of the office while I do this video. He's not happy with me. Have a Power Through Prayer. I didn't really look at this or the next one to see what they're about. I just found it interesting. They use this green paper. It's really kind of different, and I just grabbed them because they were cheap. I'll see what they're about. How to Grow in the Christian Life. Oh, here's another little kind of evangelism type thing. I've got a date. Now what? Oh boy. Yeah, I think I've been him on a few dates in my teenage and early adult years. He looks pretty nervous, and she is not having a good time. Ooh. Clumsy, Shy, and Petrified? Yes, I was. This book is just for you, the young teenager. And I'm sure this offers some very conservative Christian advice for how to date and in a Christian manner. I don't know who published this. Back to the Bible, Lincoln, Nebraska. Don't know them, but yeah, I love that cover. Had to grab that. A couple things here, a little more, I guess, maybe serious or useful. We have a Devoted Christian's Prayer Book. It's in pretty rough condition, really quite rough, but I grabbed it because, well, price was good, and we see that it comes from a Mennonite devotional book dating back to the 1700s or earlier, and that just really gets my interest. My wife and I love anything Anabaptist. My wife was in a Mennonite church for several years. She lived in Lancaster, PA, which is, of course, a lot of Anabaptists, Mennonites, Amish out there. So yeah, really looking forward to checking this out and seeing what we have in here. Of course, I love prayer books too, so wonderful. Thomas Merton, Contemplative Prayer. So I got this because, well, honestly, I know pretty much nothing about the sort of Christian mystics, contemplatives, etc. And grabbed this for, I think, 25 cents and figured, why not? And actually, I was on vacation while I was up checking out this thrift store, and this is pretty short, so I actually read this over my vacation, and it was interesting. I'm pretty probably evangelical in my approach to things, and I'm a computer programmer. I'm very like an engineer when it comes to how I approach things. So this was there were some interesting insights. I'm not sure how much it really got my attention. I'm still curious, and if anyone has any suggestions for books to check out in terms of the contemplatives, mystics, I'd appreciate your recommendations. I read that this may not have been the best place to start with Thomas Merton, but I'm going to hold on to it for now, and maybe someday I'll come back to it and I'll take more from it. Oh, I found this little book on depression from a Christian perspective. Some of you saw my recent video on depression, and I shared some of my story with it and what I've been through recently. This is 25 cents. I just got this to see how it kind of approaches things, and maybe I'll look at it and review it at some point, what I think it does well or maybe doesn't do well, depending on how it approaches the subject. Unfortunately, sometimes we do not approach it well in Christianity. And the last thing I got was Evolution in the High School Student. And we got that ape there. And this was Tyndall House published this, and it takes, I flipped through it before, it takes, as one might expect, a fairly conservative, traditional Christian view, although it does have some room for some disagreement on things, and I thought it'd be interesting to see how it approached things. There's Darwin. Especially being, I don't know how old this is. I would guess 70s, 80s maybe. Just another kind of, just for the heck of it, I grabbed it. Okay, so that was everything from that store. I mentioned MAMO earlier and gave him a shout out. I recently visited his favorite thrift store, at least the one that he regularly goes to, because I was in his part of the world and appreciate him letting me know about the place. Picked up a couple things. First is this New King James Bible, and you know this is old because it actually spells it out. I don't think I've seen any other in the last, I don't know how many years. It's always just NKJV. Everyone knows what that means, but this is just the New Testament hardcover from Nelson, and this predates the last revision of the NKJV. You can see, oh, R. Grant Jones has a video, maybe I'll link to that, talking about has the NKJV ever been revised, and he covers some of the differences. They're all very minor, though. This is something you can absolutely use. I think here, yeah, when Herod the king had heard these things, if you look at a modern NKJV, I believe it says when Herod the king had heard this. That's one minor change. This is a red letter, but that's a pretty good red letter. I like that, actually. I can read that. It's a nice dark kind of burgundy. And I do sometimes like a red letter, especially this one has it in Revelation. It offers some help to kind of see when it's believed. We're hearing directly from Jesus. So I just, yeah, I like this. I don't use the NKJV a lot, but I use it some, and this was such a nice little hardcover New Testament. I couldn't resist for $2. And this was my most exciting find, though, at that thrift store, and this was also $2. We have the United Methodist Church Book of Hymns, and that is the, well, it was the hymnal of the UMC and the Methodist Church before it. This was in 1964 and 66 they produced this. It was replaced by the current hymnal, which I did a video about a while back in 1989. But this is a special edition. It is not a red or purple hardcover, as was the usual for these. It's a brown, I would guess a faux leather, could be bonded leather, but I think it's just kind of a synthetic. And we have a gold gilding, and we have a ribbon marker, which is kind of an, I don't know, an off gold, not sure, but really neat. And for the price, couldn't resist it. I think those of you who watch regularly know I grew up in the UMC. I'm still technically on paper a member of the United Methodist Church, although I'm not too involved anymore. But I do love the UMC hymnals, love the songs and theology of the Wesley brothers, and very excited to find this. Very cool. Anyways, MAMO asked to see this, so there, that's for you, MAMO. Thanks again for letting me know about your wonderful little thrift store. Also, kind of an Amish country, but a different area from the other thrift store I was at. Okay, a couple more things I'll share. These are just some things from my local thrift stores and places I regularly stop at. Regularly. There we go. That's a hard word to say, huh? Short Prayers for the Long Day, compiled by Giles? Not sure. In Melville Harcourt. I'm just messing up everything now. Anyways, I just got this yesterday, at least at the time I'm making this video. It's published by a small Catholic publisher that I wasn't familiar with. This was $2 at a half-price books. And yeah, it's just a really nice collection of short prayers with it kind of an emphasis on prayers for, difficult, challenging times, etc. They're broken into different categories. I can show you the table of contents. You can see it's originally published by some other publishers in Great Britain, and then this publisher offered it in the US. Those are the different sections. But yeah, really neat. A lot of different prayers from different perspectives. There are some things in here that are not Christian. It has some, it mentions, well, there's something from Wesley. That's obviously Christian, Methodists. There's some that are Catholic, Anglican. But we also see things from from Chinese religions, other traditions and cultures. So it's not necessarily, I would say, all throughout a Christian prayer book, but a lot of it is, or at least theistic, and I think there is value to be had from it. But again, something I would use with discernment. I did particularly really love this one here. This is from a Breton fisherman. "O God, the sea is so wide and my boat is so small. Be good to me." Yes, I have felt that in my life, as we all have many times. And that is so simple, but so powerful. And as MAMO can see, I liked it so much, I grabbed a pen and marked it permanently. Sorry, no pencils here, pal. All right, last thing I wanted to share. This was just kind of an interesting find. I was at my local Goodwill, and I got this. The Nag Hammadi Scriptures, and for those who aren't familiar with that, those are kind of the some of the Gnostic writings from early Christianity. I had this little, someone's using this as a bookmark. It's pretty. Prayer for a Peaceful Death. Hopefully I'm not going to need that anytime soon. Planning to be around for quite a while. But yeah, it mentions over here that it's got a bunch of the Nag Hammadi scriptures, also includes Gospel of Mary and the controversial Gospel of Judas. If you've heard of nothing else in here, you've probably heard of the Gospel of Judas. But these are a lot of kind of what we call Gnostic works. They are not, they do not conform to what most of us consider Orthodox Christianity today, or for the last many, many years. But it's interesting, and I think there is value in understanding some of the different views and things that came out within Christianity before it really got more power and became more kind of, decided, okay, this is right, this isn't, and, enforced that more. I see these days a lot of people kind of appealing to historic Christianity. What I believe is historic Christianity, versus something else that they would say is not historic because it's too progressive or liberal or whatever they're attacking. These kinds of works show us that historic Christianity is a dangerous term to use. The further back you get, the more variety you actually often find in views of Jesus and various theological issues in Christianity. So I don't know when I'll ever have time to really read this or study it. I keep busy enough just reading the books that are considered canon and orthodox within Christianity at large, but this was just $1 and it's like brand new, and it's got some dust on it. I need to wipe down my shelves. But yeah, $1, it's like brand new. I couldn't resist that. So that may be a useful resource as I come across discussions on these sorts of topics. Anyways, that's everything. I just wanted to share some of the stuff I've got. Some of these things I'll eventually review in more detail, perhaps. Some I won't, especially a lot of stuff in this stack. Some of it was just for fun. But as always, if you found this informative, educational, entertaining, please click like. If you have anything you'd like to share, please do so in the comments. I love hearing from so many of you. And if you'd like to see more videos, thrift store hauls and Bibles and other things that I do, I invite you to subscribe. I thank you for watching. As always, God bless. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you for the next one.